What's up, peoples? Oh, look at my hair looking all crazy. Welcome to another broadcast of What the Fuck Tuesday. It's the live stream relationship advice show here on the Debsterism channel. It's also streaming to Facebook, Twitch, and yeah, sometimes Twitter as well, but not today. I don't feel like being bothered with them. Anyway, today's questions. We have 25 questions today. Thank goodness it's back to 25. These questions are submitted in advance. This is not the show where you get your question answered live on the air, but in the event that you want to send in a question to the show, this is it. This is how you do it. Just look in the show description down below or log on to debsterism.com. You'll see the button that says Get Advice. Just click it and complete all the blanks on the form and send in your question for a chance to be selected for an upcoming show. Okay. We will have a live advice stream. I'm going to start doing that on the third Thursday of every month. So whatever the third Thursday is of November, if you have a question and you don't want to risk maybe not getting picked for the What the Fuck Tuesday show, then just come on through on that third Thursday. You can see it on the show page and on YouTube. And it's a $10 fee, and you get your question answered right then, right there. Okay, right on the air. So let me click over here to the chat stream. Oh, look at all these people up in here. Hey, Shay, what's happening, everybody? Sacktown. Oh, Lauren's from Sacktown too. See all the usual and customary criminals up in here. Okay, let's get started, you guys, because something tells me this thing is kind of thick. When it's thick, that means, and it's only 25 questions, that means that the questions are long. So let me get my voice ready. Okay, here we go. Question number 1 of 25 for those of you who, people try to keep up. This is a young lady in the 20 to 34 age group. She's African American from Los Angeles, California. Summary of issue: why do Black men demand that we prove our worth and bring XYZ to the table? Oh, well, isn't that the burning question of 2021 and 22? I'm 33 and living in Southern California. You know we have special dusties down here, Deb. I find it ridiculous that so many men I've been matched with or dated are expecting me to prove my worth when they do not prove themselves if it's worth it for me to even sacrifice things on my end. Deb, I even had one guy ask if I'm willing to quit my job and start a new career or move to random places. He didn't even mention other factors or reasons for moving, but just moving. Assuming from previous conversation, he's looking for someone who is willing to move around the country or even out of the country for his career plan. Isn't the first step to explain what you're willing to do and sacrifice in this relationship before you asking someone if he or she is willing to do something for you? Or at least show me that you are a loving and caring person, that I would feel safe to go anywhere with you. I have a good, stable career, and of course, for the sake of experience and out of boredom, my job allows me to explore and experience since I will be able to return to my career if things don't work out. However, I have invested my time and a fortune to achieve this, and I'm actually happy and comfortable with my career, so that it would have to be a really good opportunity or reason for me to quit my job and start over. I know if I don't find this reasonable. I know you will say just move on to the next person, but Deb, it's been happening almost every time. And they brought up this conversation when we just started talking. Maybe it's because of the age group, mid 30s to early 40s, that I'm dating, but I feel hopeless once again for the unrealistic expectations these men seem to have and wanting me to show what I can do for them when they don't even offer what they can do for me. Am I a collector of these types of people, or is this a common problem that many other single Black women have? From all reports, it's a common problem. It's not limited to Black women either. It's just, I don't know. It's like the Dusty factory went underground and is turning them out like overtime, just running 24 hours a day, turning out dusty men. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. Instead of entertaining their nonsense, just stop them and say, whoa, 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 whoa. You asking me about would I move to these places? What is the reason that I would be doing that? Why why should I even consider that? What are you asking me? And put it back on their turn. Just how you play tennis and you bat that ball back, or you hit that volleyball and you fly it back over the net. Just do that, okay? Because you're going to put that ball right back on their court, and to get an answer, because these questions that you're asking are valid, but you're asking them to the wrong person. I'm not the one telling you this garbage. You should be asking the fools who are spewing this nonsense from their lips. So you do it that way. As soon as they start talking all that trip down fantasy lane and ridiculous town, then you just tell them, just ask them that question. Why are you asking me that? What's your goal here? What are you trying to really find out? What's the purpose of this? What's the plan? And they're, of course, not going to have any answer to those very sane and sensible questions. And so you can just say, oh, so in other words, you're just running your mouth because you have nothing else to talk about. Is that what's going on here? And then they'll, be looking at you like confused because you would have called them out on their nonsense and you're not going for the okie doke. Because see, in my mind, when men start doing this kind of stuff, it's a test. If you're unaware of the test that men run, go to my blog, survivingdating.com, and look up the article called The Hoe Test. Now, this might not necessarily fall under hoe classification, but it's definitely a stupid woman test, because what they want to do is find out how easy you are to trip up with fantasies, dreams. So if you the kind of bite on dreams and wishful thinking, he knows he got you. He can just start spinning yarns right and left. And whatever he tells you, without ever really giving you any positive, there's nothing positive and tangible about what he's talking about. It's just grit on air. So if you're the kind of woman that goes along with that stuff, then he knows he can just tell you anything and just have you all kinds of twisted up. But you, being a sane, sensible, down-to-earth young lady, are not falling for the okie doke. So they wouldn't know what to do with you. So I'm going to say, just do what I said and just ask those pointed questions like right up front as soon as they start talking that nonsense, and shut it down and say, okay, is that all you got to do? Do you have anything else to talk about? Nothing else to say? Something that, I can like take to the bank, something like that, and see what they say. I have a feeling these conversations that you've been having, these talking to things, will end in about 20 minutes. And then you can have the rest of your evening free to do something sensible like read a book, go hang out with your friends, do something to make some money. How about that? Question number 2, female, 28 to 34 age group. She's Native American from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, writing about a male who is in the 28 to 34 age group who is white. Summary of issue. My husband lied about wanting kids for 11 years, and now I don't know what to do. My husband's 32 and I'm 28, and we've been married for 8 years, together for a total of 11. I've always been upfront in my deep desire for children. He always says he was okay with that and he wanted them too. We've been trying for 6 years now with no luck, and I've essentially been handling the pressure alone. Lately, we've hit a rough patch unrelated to children, where I brought up not feeling like his first priority, and then he blew up saying he felt the same. My husband is not an emotional man and has never been. I ended up getting upset and asked him if he even wanted to be with me anymore, and he just said, I don't know. This kind of broke me. My cycle was late recently, but the test came back negative, so I didn't say anything since he never seemed to care anyways. He texted me and told me that he wasn't snooping, but found the disposed test in the trash, which I was suspicious of because at the time he found it, it was barely visible, and we don't share a bathroom. Shit has apparently hit the fan, and it's come to light that he's been lying about wanting kids the entire time we've been together. I'm distraught. My biggest fear that I've had since I was a child myself was not being a mom, and now the man who I wanted to spend my life with is denying me that. We got married young. I was only 20. I feel like I have nothing to look forward to now. I love him with every cell of my being, but I don't know how to get past this. Any advice from me? Go to the doctor and get tests. Make sure there's nothing wrong with your equipment. Because what you want to do is eliminate the possibility that you're the reason why you're not getting pregnant. Do you have some scarring in your fallopian tubes? Are you ovulating properly? That kind of thing. You want to find all that out. If everything comes back A-okay, then the problem is him. Now, what would I suspect? I would suspect a vasectomy. Since he's been keeping it secret that he doesn't want children, what better way do you think to make sure that you don't have any is by sneaking around and getting a vasectomy. So you thinking he's trying to get you pregnant, and he's just laughing because he knows nothing of that is true. But your first step is to go to the doctor. Now, what is that going to do? That's going to eliminate a lot of questions in your mind, and it's also going to put you in a position where you have a decision to make. If having children is your, I mean, some women that's their lifelong dream. They don't feel like a human being unless they have a baby, unless they're somebody's mom. I mean, and if that's your dream, honey, I'm all for it. You should have it. I don't know why, but that's you. So what you then have to decide, do I want to go and invest in some, using a sperm bank to get myself pregnant? Do I want to get a divorce from this man and get somebody else to get me pregnant? Or do I want to forego being a mother? Those are only the three choices that you can make. It's going to be one of them three. Either you're going to get the baby from somebody else, in another relationship, or to a fertility, bank or specialist or whatever you call it, or you're just going to not have kids. So those are your choices. You have to think of that. I can't do that for you. But that would be what I want you to have. I want you to know and be clear about, what the setup is here. And if you can't even have children, because, sometimes women have different pelvic infections when they're young and they don't get them properly treated because they didn't know they had it, and they end up infertile. Not to say they can't get pregnant ever, but they really struggle and need like medical interventions in order to achieve pregnancy. So, but if you got a husband who doesn't really want children, he was not going to want to go through all that expensive time, and all the injections that you'd have to do and all that stuff there is very expensive. So think about which one you want to do. Do you love the idea more of having children of your own, or do you love him? You can only love one of them. You're gonna have to pick. I can't do that for you. Okay, that's a hard choice. Okay, female, 22 to 27. She's mixed race from Derby, England. Summary of issue: changing name after marriage. We're in a war. Ooh. My wedding is in 3 months, and I have serious doubts about changing my name. Coming from a somewhat traditional family, I always assumed that when I got married, I'd take my husband's name just like my mom and my sister did. But the closer the wedding gets, the less I want to drop my last name. It's part of my identity. It signifies my heritage and connects me to my family. I'm not far enough along in my career where I need to keep my maiden name. So that's not really an issue. More than anything, it's an emotional urge. I just don't want to drop my maiden name. I don't even want to take my maiden name as a middle name because really, who asked about your middle name? How many people even know what your middle name is anyway? I would like to take his last name in some capacity, but that doesn't mean I want to lose my last name at the same time. I've told all this to my fiance several times and mentioned that maybe I'll hyphenate it or have two last names. At first, he kept saying it was a bad idea because our names together sound eerily close to a famous monster movie. But after we talked about it more, it became obvious that he was upset that I don't want to change my last name to his. He doesn't mind if I keep my last name as a middle name, but he really wants me to be Mrs. Smith, Smith, not Mrs. hyphenated Smith or Mrs. Smith, both last names. He said if I don't change my name, it seems like less of a commitment. Like it'll be easier to back out of our marriage, which is not how I think about it at all. He even went so far as to say that it seems disrespectful if I don't change my name because I'm not considering his feelings. Changing my name is not a nice little favor I can do to make him feel better, like making him cookies or giving him a back rub. And whether or not I change my name, I'm the one who has to live with it. Other than a few occasions here and there, it won't really affect him much anyway. I'm the one who have to go through all the trouble to change my documentations and licenses, and it is a pain in the butt. Trust me. On top of that, it makes me kind of angry that if I add his last name, it's still not enough for him. He actually wants me to drop my last name. Since both of our opinions come from very emotional places, I don't know how to find a compromise. I'd love to hear your thoughts. My thoughts are this. You're not going to like what I have to say. You tell him it's your way or no way. Either he gets with the program and you use their, or he can change his name to yours if it's so important to him that everybody match. That's another option. Like Zoe Saldana, her dude, I forgot what his name is, he changed his last name to Saldana. You know why? Because it's more exotic. It's more oomph to it. And he dropped that old crazy name his family had, and he got that Latino flavor now, and so he got it going on and not bothered. That's another option that you can use. So propose that to him since it's not, of no bothering. It's what did he say? Um, I'm not considering. Oh, that it seems disrespectful. So yeah, you could take my last name. That's what's going on in society these days. If you really want to have the same last name, otherwise I'm going to do it this way, and you just go like it. And if you don't like it, then we don't have to get married. I could marry somebody else who's more open-minded and who will be happy to have a wife that loves him and all of that, and not worry about stupid stuff like what her last name is. So that's what you could tell him as well. It just depends on your personality. But that's what I would have said a long time ago. Yeah, see, my thing is, I'm born Deborah Cooper. I'm going to die Deborah Cooper. Anything that happens in between that, I'm still going to be Deborah Cooper. You know why? Because I love my daddy. My whole family, that's my identity. That's who I have been since birth. I don't see any reason why I need to change it for some Johnny come lately who might not be around in 5, 10 years. Did I have to go to all the trouble to change my name back? I don't, and the whole thing about changing your name, I mean, women would do that, but that is when women were viewed as property of their husbands. They went from being owned by their father to being owned by their husband. They didn't have any right to own anything. So what difference did it make what their last name was? Any property inheritance they had went to their husband. That's why a lot of like scammer types would try to latch onto a young woman that had money. Because as soon as her parents would die or something, she'd get her inheritance, and that would become his money. That's how that worked in those olden days. So there was a reason why the women would take the guy's name. But in these society that we live in now, it's not necessary. You don't have to have, even both of you can change your last name at will. You look in the phone book and pick one. I could become, I don't know, Deborah Kong, Ing, Goo, whatever. Just looking in the phone, just change your name at will. All you have to do is file the paperwork, and that's your new name. They don't care. So, message is popping up. It's kind of irrelevant to me, but that's something you two are going to have to decide. For me, it would be, well, this is what I decided, and you go like it. And if you don't like it, there's the door, the end. Because there's no point in arguing back and forth about it because you already made up your mind. So there's no point. He's just running his mouth at this point. He doesn't want her to hyphenate Vanna. She said that. He doesn't want a hyphenation, and he doesn't want her to use his name, her middle name. He wants her to change her name. He wants her to drop her name and just use his. See, he really wants me to be Mrs. Smith, not Mrs. Hyphenated Smith or Mrs. both last names. She said that. So hyphenation is out off the table. Putting both last names is off the table. He wants her to drop her last name and just use his. And she's saying no. And I don't blame her. Question number 4. Male in the 28 to 32 age group. He's white from London in the UK. Summary of issue. What is this, quote, being friends first thing all about? Recently, I was wondering what exactly, this is a blank piece of paper, the printer messed up. This means, or what women mutually expect when saying this. I experienced this in 3 different ways. Number 1, in 2 different ways. Okay, I see 1 and 2. 1, dating some woman told me that they want to be friends first. I think it's pretty clear and it's just a kind way of saying that there's no romantic interest. Number 2, straight written on an online dating profile like long-term relationship but being friends first, or directly written with in the first messages. And there is where it starts. I started wondering. I know that there's a thing that this should make clear that the woman does not want a one-night stand. That's absolutely fine with me. I myself am also not looking for that, but I'm definitely looking for a long-term relationship. But I don't want to be just friends first. I just had not had the time for being friends first. With the option of maybe them getting into a relationship. I already have enough friends, which I won't neglect just for a chance rather of a relationship and a job which fills the days, and we pretty good. I guess he means weekends pretty good. Of course, I know that a relationship must include friendship, and I'm absolutely willing to invest in that if it's clear up front that the goal of all this is a long-term relationship. But this seems to not really a goal of these statements, or at least in what I experienced so far. Unless someone has something else to do, it will be difficult being friends with multiple matches just for the opportunity of a long-term relationship, at least if we are talking about real friendship and not just talking every now and then. So what exactly are you women looking for when you say that? How do you handle profiles and matches with that attitude? Do you think I have incorrect interpretation or wrong expectation? I do. I think you are doing the absolute most. You know what that means, especially when a woman says it up front, she doesn't really know you yet. That means she's run into some dusty knuckleheads who pressed her immediately for a relationship. And you know why you guys do that? You guys do that because you feel like if she's your quote girlfriend, in her mind that means something, and then you can jump into bed with her. That is the goal, to manipulate her by saying, that you want to be in a relationship. And so young girls who are silly, or women who are naive or thirsty and desperate, pick Misha types will bite. And they'll be like, oh, okay, they've known you for 48 hours. And because you said that, you want them to be your girlfriend, they all for it, and then they sleep with you. Because they think, I only want to sleep with somebody when I'm in a committed relationship. So you, on these dudes that I'm talking about, one committed relationship coming right up. When a woman says she wants to be girlfriends, first she's saying, don't even try that game. That's what she's saying. I'm going to get to know you without the pressure of any kind of physical intimacy unless I feel it. You're not going to expect it. You're not going to demand it. I'm not going to be your girlfriend out the gate. You don't be expecting nothing from me. If you can't get to know me just like you would try to get to know any other person, then there's no point in you to talking to me. That's what that means. So you might not see, you thinking that you're going to be dating somebody, and she right off the bat, she's going to be like trying to have a long-term relationship with your ass. You tripping. She don't know you from a hole in the ground. What in the world do you think is so special and unique and wonderful about you that just looking at you, she knows that she wants a long-term relationship? Do you know how stupid you sound right about now? You sound crazy. If you're not willing to put the time in and effort in and removing all of that aspect of a relationship from getting to know a woman's true heart and letting her know yours, then you don't need to date. You don't need to date because you don't even understand what the principle is. Too many of you men look at dating as just a free for all for some booty. That's what you think it is. That a woman owes you something to sleep with you. These women are straight telling you out the gate that's not part of the scenario. That's not going to happen, and don't expect it. Now, if you're willing to put the time and energy in because you really do want a long-term relationship with someone that you connect to on a deeper level, so you are quote friends first, then you do that. But obviously, that's not what you want. You just want some. You just want some booty, and you trying to couch it in a long-term relationship, which just for you sounds like long-term booty. That's what you mean. But see, you know what? I've been around a long time, and I see through you. I see you. I see you, and I'm not liking what I see. Now, I know you're going to be saying, well, it can't be like that. I'm telling you it is. That's why you wrote to me. One thing I'm not going to do is lie to you. I'm going to tell you how it is. You can also look in the chat, and you can see what they have to say, if they're going to be agreeing with me, because that's what that means from a woman's point of view. Don't expect nothing except my time and energy and some laughs and, getting to know me. I'm going to let you in that respect. If it advances to something else as I feel more comfortable with you, then we'll do that. But don't come in the gate expecting nothing like what you have on this letter. Well, I don't have time to be friends. Then you don't have time for a relationship. If you just want some booty, then go pay for it. Okay, because that sounds like that's all you want. You may say, no, I want a long-term relationship. That's not how you present yourself, sir. You sitting up there telling that you don't have time. You put that in here, that you don't have time to be friends with anybody. If you don't have time to be friends, that means you don't have time to date, because, dating has to incorporate some level of friendship. That's what keeps you, that means you like the person, not just lust after the person, not madly in love with the person, but you like who that person is and you want to be around them. You want to do things with them. You enjoy talking to them. Like you share things with them. You trust them. Those are the foundational aspects of friendship. If you feel like you don't have enough time and energy to do that, or you ain't trying to invest in anybody like that, then like I said, there's women in that line of work. Go handle your business, lay out that $100 and leave these chicks alone. Question number 5. Female 22 to 27. She's Caucasian from Edmonton, Canada. Summary of issue: I'm frustrated and exhausted with dating. Well, honey, join the club. You would think I would have some vino in here. Nope, you want to have mushroom coffee because I need to stay awake. See these bags under my eyes? I haven't been sleeping. So I have bags, but I have mushroom coffee. Okay. So she's frustrated, exhausted with dating, just like so many other women. I am so sick and tired of men asking me to be friends with benefits with them, even though in my dating profile it clearly says long-term relationship. I wish people saw me as something worth getting to know and not a piece of you know what. Their profile says the same thing, long-term relationship. But so when they ask me that question, I feel extremely disrespected. And there are no provocative photos or anything of that nature on my profile. And to top it all off, this happens to me in real life too. Why do men only see me as nothing but a piece of donkey? God, I hate it here, she says. Well, I don't know. Edmonton, Canada is just a small corner of the world. The issue that you described is taking place globally. Again, the Dusty Man Factory is working overtime 24/7, just cranking them out, cranking them out, cranking them out. So what I can tell you to you is, you should put in there and change your profile to saying, don't ask me about no FWB because I'll cuss you out. Put that in there. And then if somebody asks you about it, then 2 minutes to cussing them out. My thing is that's like a rattlesnake shaking his tail. I warned you. And if you do it anyway, that means you wanted to get bit. All right? I'm rattling at you. I'm saying, hello, don't come this way because I'm going to strike. And you warn them by saying, look, if you say something stupid like that to me, I'm going to cuss you out. And then they do it. That means you wanted me to cuss you out. So I'm going to happily oblige because that's what you wanted. I like people to leave happy. I don't care, you could leave mad too. That works for me just as well. But ideally, you would leave happy. And, in that case, I just love that part, cussing folks out. So I don't have a problem with delivering that. And that's what he would get because that's what he would want. All right. You say dust settles all over the world. It's so true. Just flies through the air. Just flying and landing on stuff. It's just unbelievable. These guys are just a trip. So, the other thing you have to realize is you're in that age group, and I keep saying this on alternate shows. I just have to remind the young women. Young men in their 20s and early 30s are hoes. That's all there is to it. Y'all getting with these dudes and you expect them to be all, all like cleaving onto you and all the stuff like they do in the movies and in the Bible and all that old stuff. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The guy who would do such a thing is maybe 1% of them. 99% of them ain't about nothing except that little piece of meat. So if you go into it knowing that, then when they start acting stupid, you won't be surprised. You won't have yourself so wrapped up in them. You'll be more focused on yourself and what's going on with you and what you if he's meeting your needs and all this other stuff here. So your relationship perspective will be different. But I'm telling you, if you dating a guy 20, 21, 22, 28, 30, 32, someone, just expect him to be a hoe. It's just no point. And like I said, the ones who aren't are the anomaly. You guys thinking the ones who are the anomaly. Oh, no. You got it wrong. You got it twisted. They're not about nothing. So, I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you, girlfriend. But, and that's what's on. They seem to expect that, especially on these dating apps from everything that the ladies here have been telling me. I've never even seen one, so I can't tell you from personal experience. But from everything the women said and plus what I read online and stuff, the dating apps are full of trifling men. Just that's all there is. So most of them are married or in some relationship and trying to find somebody to creep with. So again, hoes. So I don't know what to tell you. Question number 6, male, 20 to 34. He's African American, a Gemini from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Summary of issue. How do I break it off with someone who is in love with you? Ooh. I need some guidance on how I can let someone down that has fallen in love with me. I'm 28 and she is 25. We have been dating for maybe 7 or 8 weeks. Initially, I was into her, but over the last few weeks, I have become disinterested. She is kind and cute and loves to take care of me. She cooks and brings me stuff and checks on me. But there are some factors of the relationship that I just can't get past and find myself not as attracted to her as I was. For example, number one, she cannot match me intellectually. I have an MBA, but I don't trip on it. It's just that she has maybe a semester of college and doesn't seem interested in reading or even learning anything. Deb, she can't even hold a real conversation. And I can't have deep conversations or thoughts shared with her because they all go over her head. Number two, even after all this time, she is still so nervous around me. She has trouble maintaining eye contact and laughs at everything I say. It was cute at first, but it's annoying as hell now. Number three, she doesn't have a car anymore, so I always have to drive and pick her up. I did this in my last relationship for a girl that I was in love with, but I don't want to do this here. Suffice it to say, this needs to end, but I don't know how. She has told me that she has fallen hard for me and loves me deeply. I told her I needed more time to get these feelings, but I already know it's not going to happen. How do I end this without hurting her too badly? Why do people always worry about not hurting someone too badly? You can't worry about that because anything other than what she wants and fantasizes about, it's going to hurt her. There's no avoiding that. So all you're going to have to do is say, the other day when you said that you love me deeply and all sorts of stuff here, and I said I needed time for those feelings to develop, I realized that that time has come and gone and it's never going to happen. So we need to break up now. And I know you sitting there saying, that's so harsh. But you know what? Straightforward, the hard cut is the best cut. The cut where people try to do the fade out and, they stop responding to calls and, they kind of they do the slow ghost or they start standing her up or being disrespectful, starting fights, all this kind of stuff. Some guys try to do the exit that way, but that's like chicken shit. I mean, don't do that. Um, that to me is more disrespectful than just ghosting somebody because you're playing a game. You're just dragging it out. So be a man, sit down and tell the girl, and just be straight with her and say, I've been thinking about it and I'm just not feeling what I thought I was going to be feeling. It's not happening for me. So I don't want to keep wasting your time because we only, we less than 2 months into this, so it's not get so serious. But let's just end this before things get too deep. So what I'm suspecting though, see now I got to get on you, my brother. I got to get on you. So she was too cute, huh? She had that boom bam boom going on, cute face and all that stuff. So you was all intrigued. So you tapped it, satisfied your curiosity, and then of course, then after all that happened, you looking for more because that's how men do things. They do stuff in reverse. See, they don't want to be friends. They want to get to know you. They follow the little head. So his little head had led her to this girl, but see now his big head is activated and it's seeing that she's an airhead and there's nothing there. There's no conversation, there's no intellect, there's nothing, and he's sitting there scratching his head because he's like, "Oh my God, what happened here? What have I done?" So now you want to get rid of her. But see, but had you done things like women do and been friends with her first and had like some, couple of weeks conversation and figured out that you could have figured out that she was stupid and before she fell in love with you and before all this drag and drama happened. You see how that works? You old enough to control yourself now. You need to stop acting like this. So don't repeat this mistake in the future. You see somebody, it's fine to be attracted to them. I'm not saying that. Of course, we want to be attracted to someone that we're dating. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. What I'm saying is that's what you led with. When you lead with that, and then you find out later that there's nothing to hold you there, you create this kind of drama in your life. And you don't want to leave a string of women like this because some women are not wrapped too tight. There's a lot of mental illness out here amongst these young girls. Well, the young guys too. I mean, I'm not sure what happened, like second generation crack babies or something. There's something wrong. A lot of bipolarism and emotional anxiety and just weirdness in these kids. So, you might run up on the wrong chick and not survive it. So I'm cautioning you to change your approach and how you dating and be more mature about it. You could, a couple of weeks of talking, you could have your cut buddy or whatever, but you got somebody just trying to get with you or you want to get with her, you need to take your time, slow down and get to know these women. You can't keep living like this. This is not going to work. I don't want to be, not like I know you, but it'll be sad to get a letter from you talking about, oh my God, damn, I just got out the hospital. I had to have 16 surgeries to repair my face and, this and that, blah, blah, blah. I'm not trying to hear that, okay? So change your life, young man. This is not going to work. Question number 7, male, 22 to 27. He's from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and he is Caucasian. Yeah, I know that's how they do. But, Giggles, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. It's not going to work. I'm telling you, these people these people are crazy. You know how much I'd ask you all the time? We're getting all these letters in from these people who are half crazy. It's talking about, oh, I'm on all these meds. I have this diagnosis right here. And, my boyfriend this and my girlfriend that, and they're all crazy. So, I mean, and I know that's not a politically correct word, but, who have ever cared about being PC? I just tell you, these people are loony, okay? So you can be running up on some loony person, you may not survive the encounter. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So you better slow your roll, home skillet. Let's move on. Question number 7, the young man 22 to 27 from Ann Arbor. Summary of his issue: he's confused and tired of waiting. I have been dating this girl for almost a year, and I gotta admit, I've been working 2 jobs and it's been hard. I don't give her much time, but she waits around for me. I want to sleep with her, but she won't let me. We don't connect deeply, but I can't go without talking to her, and she feels the same. Okay. She said no for some bootay. It's important to me. She said I don't give her time, so I invite her to my house at least once a week so that we can spend the night together, even if it's not eggplanty. We rarely go out and I prefer to chill at home. But I need some bootay and she doesn't want to do it. We have made it clear and respect each other's decision, but it's getting difficult now. Any advice for me? Yeah, just stop seeing her. Stop seeing her if it's that important to you. But see, this is the deal. This is the deal right here. You're not even in a relationship. I don't know what this mess is. You working 2 jobs. That means 18 hours a day. At least some days you're working, and then the other time you got to sleep and eat and do something with yourself. So you really don't have time for a relationship. What you want is somebody who's gonna call herself your girlfriend and just come over and serve you some booty. That's what you want. And she's like, oh no, that's not gonna work here, sir. We can be friends, we can talk, we can hang out and stuff, but I'm not gonna put myself in a position to be used for your good time like that. I'm not gonna do that. And I'm happy that she respects herself enough to realize the game that you're trying to run. So all you can do, sir, is either figure out some kind of way to cut back on your work schedule so you do have time to spend with a partner and develop a true relationship, or you're gonna keep working your 2 jobs and be by yourself. That's just the way it is. If I were her, I wouldn't give you the time of day. I would be like, oh, you don't have time for me. I would be like, looking around. Next. Who's next? Who am I going to date that's not you? But for some reason, she seems to like you. I don't know. You guys have some kind of weird attachment, even though you say it's not, you don't connect deeply. I think what you mean is you need some booty so you can feel like you can connect deeply. And she's like, no, I'm not trying to connect deeply with somebody who doesn't really have time for me, who just wants me to come over and be a cut buddy for him under the guise of being his girlfriend. So you have some thinking to do. You don't, you can't form a relationship by seeing someone once a week while you chill on the couch. That's not gonna work. You think about it. What is you offering a woman that she would want to be in a relationship with you? Doesn't sound like anything to me. Question number 8. This is a young lady in the 20 to 34 age group from Bolton, Greater Manchester in the UK. Summary of the issue: why are outsiders so desperate to save a dead relationship, especially when stalking is involved? Oh, wait a minute. I need a swig of my coffee on that one. Yes, Silver Screen is correct. Bing. Okay, she says, I have several questions about people interfering in the relationships of women and trying to get us to stay with men that we don't want to be with. Number one, okay, several. How many? God, okay. Why is it that third parties at times seem so eager to repair broken relationships that they effectively have nothing to do with them? Why is it that the idea that these two people may be better off without each other be written off as fear-based thinking? Number two, girl, any one of these would have been enough for the advice column. Do you realize that I'm not a psychiatrist couch? Okay, this show is like 2 hours. I'm not going to be answering all these 900 questions that you have on here, but let me read them and I'm going to pick maybe two. Okay. Number two, why don't we get to decide who we get to be with instead of chalking it up to fate and destiny? Why do people think that incompatibility is a result of unresolved trauma instead of a difference in temperament and character? Number three, why do people think it's impossible to reminisce about a person without necessarily wanting to be a part of their life again? What propels people to search for any sign to convince themselves that they are the avatar that will bring two, quote, lovebirds close together? Number four, why do people think that healing all trauma will save a relationship when the opportunity to experience trauma is always present? Well, that's true. Why does it appear to me that trauma in the eyes of other people seems like something that is only experienced in a person's young years? Number five, how do people know that their determination to repair a broken relationship is not just a sign of their own codependency, grandiosity, or overinflated sense of self-importance? Why do people think that, this is number six, thank you, it's at the end of this book you wrote. Why do people think that compassion and understanding is a magic pill that solves all problems? How do they know their compassion won't be exploited and taken for granted? Deb, it just seems like people bend over to complicate everything these days. Things are so overcomplicated now that a woman who desires not to be stalked is written off as someone who thinks that the whole world revolves around them. I thought not wanting to be stalked was common sense. I guess I was wrong or just behind in the times. What do you think? I don't know what to think. You boggled my mind with all of this. Shoot, I already got a bad memory. You think I'm gonna remember all this? Okay, let me go back over all this, and I'm gonna pick. Like I said, I'm picking two. That's all you're gonna get. Why is it that third parties at times seem so eager to repair broken relationships that have nothing to do with them? Because people are nosy. They're nosy, and when they don't have no business, they be trying to find a way to get all up in yours. Okay? Most people live vicariously because they don't really have any hobbies, they don't really have any interests. They don't do anything but watch TV and go to work and take care of their kids if they have some, their dog if they don't. Maybe go to church or something like that. I mean, their lives are mundane and boring. The most exciting thing for them is to be all up in your business. Okay, so that's why they do it. The idea that these people are better off without each other, written off as fear-based thinking, because they are the kind that are based their relationships on fear. They have that anxious attachment style. So for them to be single and be without a man, as a woman, to be without a man is like, I mean, what is that? I mean, they can't even fathom such an existence. So they try to get you, they think that you should think like them. So to them, a woman who can be independent and alone and still enjoy herself is like a foreign concept. They just don't understand it. Their whole identity is wrapped around who they are as, Mrs. So and so or so and so's girlfriend. That's what you're looking at. So when you don't want to be with somebody, they don't understand why you're not exerting more energy and trying to, quote, make it work. So to them, you're the problem. That's why. Now let's skip all this other stuff. We're going to go down here to the end. How do people know that their determination to repair a broken relationship is not just a sign of their own codependency or grandiosity and overinflated self-assertion? They're never going to see it that way, although we do. The main thing is if a woman has a relationship issue and it's bothering her to the point where she's, complaining about it, and you listen to it and it sounds like something serious, I'm the first one that's going to be like, girl, what you doing? Why are you wasting your time with that knucklehead? It's like, he's already proved himself to be a fool, so deuce out. That's me. And they might say, well, God, you just so quick to, tell people to move on. It's like, you know why? Because I'm old. And when you're old and you done seen 5 million times how women just waste year after year trying to hope and dream and pray and wish and therapy and pray again and be on their knees begging and asking and talking and explaining over and over and over and over and asking for what they want over and over and over. And the guy makes promises, but then he breaks them. Okay, you see that. I mean, how many hundreds of thousands of times do I have to see that to know that never works? Okay, now y'all is young and you probably haven't seen that yet. So to you, it's a novel experience. To me, it's, oh, done seen that movie on rerun like a zillion times. So that's the difference, I think. Now, if you're in a position where you're trying to, cut loose from somebody because you feel like he's stalking you, well, then it's time to get the police involved. Okay. Writing me is great and asking these questions, because, I'm not going to answer all these questions. This is like 500 questions in one letter. You did too much. So you got to answer the two, make it work. Question number 9, female, 28 to 34. She's white from Pensacola, Florida. Summary of issue: I have mentally checked out of my marriage. Hello, Deb. My sister listened to you faithfully from London and suggested I write to you for advice, so here I am. I'm in a bit of a struggle since 3 weeks ago. I am married and have 2 children. My husband's family has always been a problem in our relationship. They have never liked me, and, well, his mom has done and said hurtful things. It has finally affected me, and I've become very resentful, especially towards my husband who has never defended me. Now, after 8 years together and 2 children, he has kind of put limits on her. But at this point, I feel very trapped. He got her a ring when he proposed to me. Okay? What? Where they do that at? Okay, let me just stop right here. You getting proposed to, and he gets his mother a ring. Wasn't that a sign to tell you that he was a fool and somebody that you should say, oh, he going to propose? You say, oh, just go ahead and get up because this ain't going to happen. As a matter of fact, we're not even going to date anymore. And they turn around and walk out the door. You didn't do that. You didn't understand what that meant. See, this is like I said, this is the advantage of being old because you know this, what all these signs, these secret signs and stuff, all this stuff means. But even when I was young, I wouldn't have took that. No, no. Okay, so then our wedding was canceled because his mom could not choose the venue, and yet you stayed. His mom invited his ex to my baby shower. So she just went from bad to worse. She had said that I was going to take advantage of my husband and I could go on and on and on. Wow. Although my husband treats me well and is a good father, it's not enough. I can't have those moments back and moments like I have not gotten better. I used to think that other people had it worse and that I should just be grateful, but I also think that I deserved a beautiful wedding, nice pregnancies and baby showers, etc. A few weeks ago, I was sitting at my husband's grandma's house and I realized, Deb, that I didn't want to be there ever. Since then, I have been very frustrated. I don't want them in my life, and I want a husband who's excited to marry me and to have children with me. He is great and he does love me, but I feel like it took 2 kids to get to that point. One time he even said that in order to marry me, he had to test me during deployment at that time, and we have been together for 2 years. It feels like now that he's convinced of me, like I finally met whatever standard he was looking for. I don't know if I am mentally checked out, but I am for sure resentful and suffocated. Any ideas for what I can do? Yes, take yourself to therapy. This is for you. Now, I'm not talking about couples therapy. I'm not talking about marriage counseling. I'm talking about individual therapy because I want you to get a real clear understanding of what it was about yourself that you thought was so unimportant, so nothing, so just in need of validation by this trifling man that you endured all this disrespect, repeated over and over and over and over for years. I want you to take your butt to the nearest, get on somebody's couch. That's what you need to do. Because this, I have never in my life seen, okay, the signs were so obvious from before you even, when he proposed to you, if not before. I mean, that's where your story started. So that's why I have to start. But I would suspect that there were other signs and symptoms that you didn't address because those were the biggest ones. Those were more important. But no, there's no way in this world, a woman should stand there and have her husband give his mother a ring when he's proposing to you. There's no way in this world, okay, even if he gave you a ring and her a ring and you were like, well, maybe, okay, let's let that go. But by the time, because she couldn't find a venue, your wedding got canceled, and he went along with that, and you went along with that. See, both of y'all's crazy. She would have got cussed out, and then that would have been the end of that. And I would have told her, well, you take yourself over here and you be with your son because I'm out. I'm not going to be bothered with him anymore. He's still holding on to your apron strings. I'm not going to be bothered. I want my own man, a whole man for all my by myself. I'm not going to be sharing it with his mother. And that's what you should have said. But now you got to, in this hot mess with all these kids and everything. And all, 10 years of your life wasted on a dust bucket in Pensacola, Florida. Girl, go use your military benefits and see a therapist. Please, please do that for yourself. Especially if one of your children is a daughter. You need to present a much stronger image of womanhood than what you're presenting on this letter. Okay. Question number 10, I'm sorry. Female, 22 to 27. She's European from Aberdeen, Scotland. Summary of issue. How to tell a friend that I've changed my mind about letting her live with me. Oh, this sounds like it's going to be. I jointly own a 3-bedroom flat with my mom. She lives in another country, so I'm the only landlord living in the flat. I live with my partner and our two cats and a lodger. I met this friend on my master's course last year. Around November, she said that she would like to live with me after we graduated. And I said, yeah, that would be great. And this summer, she seemed keen to move in with me, which I agreed to. We agreed to an acceptable rate, and she said she would move in January 2023. So you got 3 bedrooms, okay. However, since then, me and my partner have started feeling anxious about living with her. She asked if she could keep some of her stuff in my house since she will be moving in soon, and her contract had ended. And I agreed. Later on, while me and my partner were on holiday, she asked if she could move some of her stuff into the room, and I said okay, and I gave her the access code to the lockbox holding our spare key. Instead of just putting her stuff in my house and leaving, she started staying in my apartment. She told me the day after that she spent the night in my apartment. I'm terrible at confrontation. So I said, okay, well, let me know next time. But then she just continued staying in my apartment. We found out by the camera that we set up for our cats. I'm too much of a pushover, so I didn't confront her about it. And I figured I'd just be nice to have someone with the cats, but it was very uncomfortable with me. After we got back from holiday, she did leave, but she asked to come over to sort out the stuff she's keeping at mine. Since the room was a mess, I thought she was tidying it up so that we could use the room. But when I entered, she was locked, setting up the room with all of her belongings. She took my clothes off the clothing rail and put hers on. After that, I had a discussion with her saying that she would either have to keep her belongings in storage so we can use the room or start paying rent. She did tidy up the room, but she got upset when I told her, and she cried and was flicking her wrists with an extension band. Okay, she crazy. You know them kind of people that's one of the things that said before you start going off into your spastic, like manic thing, you flick your wrist. You guys seen people do that? They flick their wrist and it kind of brings them back and calms them down. Oh boy, you got you a good one, chick. She also brought up her childhood and overall felt concerned that she was being manipulative. Additionally, she told me that while she was staying in our flat, she opened the windows, and one time our cat got on the window ledge. We do not open our windows unless it's boiling in our apartment, and when we do, we make sure to hold the window in place so that the cats can't get out. If we agreed to her staying, I would have told her this. One of my cats will bite when she's being stroked in a way she doesn't like, and my friend showed us how she gets my cat to stop biting her. Colon, uh-oh, this is not sounding good. By smacking her very hard. So she's hitting your cat. And you didn't smack her? I told her immediately that you can't do that. But the next time she came over, she had a new technique, shouting in my cat's ear to teach her not to bite. I told her she also can't do that. And then she told me that her and my lodger think I spoil my cats. This is a big reason I don't want her to live with me. I don't feel I can trust her with my animals. After all this, I've had incredible anxiety about her living with me. My partner does not want her to live with us either. However, she's very keen to move in with me, and I did already agree to her staying. I can't admit I've had huge issues seeing personal boundaries and saying no to people, and it isn't good of me to back out of agreements, but I'm in this situation now. She has a history of suicide attempts and has mental health problems, including bipolar And I'm worried about how she will take, see, I knew it, that wrist flicking thing. How she'll take this news. She often talks about caning herself. How should I approach this? Okay, you know all of this, and you agreed to let this crazy wench move up into your house. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Okay, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna get some little storage van thing or whatever, some little, I don't know what they call them, pod. And you and your dude is gonna move all her stuff into that pod thing. You're gonna change your locks on your house because she got the spare key. She probably could have made a copy. You're not gonna trust that, so you're gonna put all her stuff outside, and then you're gonna change your locks. And then you give them the new personal key, and then you guys have a key, and then you're gonna change the code on your lockbox. That's what you're gonna do. Okay, so now with all of those things in place, what you're going to do is call her and say, look, you did this, you did that, you've been abusive to my cats, and I cannot have you in this house. So what we're gonna do, because you haven't said about anything about her signing a rental agreement and all of that, right? Like start date for it. You didn't say anything about you signed anything. So right now she just has some stuff at your house and a verbal agreement to live there, which you can deny if it comes down to it. You say, well, yeah, I let her keep some stuff in my house, but then she started doing all this weird shit, and so I told her she can't come over here anymore. I never said she could live here. It's gonna be your word against hers. As long as you don't have anything in writing, you didn't send any text, right? Emails, what you do. You better think about it hard. If she got any kind of evidence, then we can't do that trick. But you don't have to let her move in. But I'm just saying, you can't do it this way. You'll have to do, you know, whatever. You have to see a lawyer and figure out what to do to cancel the rental agreement before she even moves in. You're in Aberdeen, Scotland. I don't know what the laws are about all that there. So that's what I'm saying. You probably should get some legal advice about what to do. But the main thing is, she ain't paid you no money. Then you get her stuff and put it in a pod and tell her come get it, and that she's not moving in. And that's just the end of that. But you brought up this thing about her having a history of suicide attempts and mental health problems, and she talks about killing herself. Why is that your problem? See, my thing is this, and I know this may be cruel, but you know how I do when people start trying to threaten me with all of that? They try to threaten you as a manipulation tool. Because you don't really know if she has a history of that or not. She just told you that she did. You see where I'm going with this? Because she knows that you're weak in the mind and you believe everything that people tell you and you just feel sorry for them just for no reason. So she can create that story. You have no proof that it's true. Okay? You have no proof of any of this other than the fact that she yelled at your cat and she smacked the hell out your cat and open the window so your cat almost fell to its death. Okay? So what you want to do is stop caring about that. You better care about yourself and your animals and your man. If she decides she want to off herself, if she decides that she wants to get off her meds and go crazy, just call the police if she shows up at your house. Have her arrested and carted away. If she decides that she, wants to have another attempt and just, try to do it at your house or something like that, again, you call the police and you have her carted away. Here we call it a 5150 when people are, cuckoo. They take them. There's a hospital here in Alameda County called John George. It's a mental institution. And they will drive their little happy butts over there and keep them over there for a couple of days. I think it's 72 hours. And that gives you time to get a restraining order and a whole bunch of other stuff. So if she comes back, then she'll get arrested. But yeah, this hiding and trying to say, well, I said this. If there's nothing in writing about it, no contract signed, then you haven't said nothing. So stop being like that. And you better get some strength in your spine or something, chick. You can't be letting people run you like this in your own house. I would have acted a fool. If she smacked my cat and shouted in my cat's ears, I would have done the same thing to her. She smacked my cat, I would have walked over and smacked the hell out of her. Say, now, how does that feel? You like that? She yelled at my cat's ear, especially in front of me, I would have went over to and did the same thing to her. And then tossed her out and told her that I'll be having her stuff delivered to her and just never cross my path again. Stuff like that. But you just take stuff. I don't understand it. I don't understand this kind of weakness in women. Question number 11. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group. She's Asian from London. The male in question is in the 28 to 34 age group, and he is white. Summary of issue. My boyfriend insulted my family. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This was always my biggest fear about interracial relationships, that some kind of racial or ethnic or cultural slur would come out of his mouth and I would lose my mind. I would go crazy. So let's see what she has to say. Last night we were on call and he asked me why I never meet him on Fridays. I told him because I hang out with my family on Fridays. He called me a pathetic loser for doing that. I then said he was not family oriented, and I gave my cousin as an example. His college is over an hour away from his parents' house, but he still comes home every Friday to see them. My boyfriend replied with how of a pansy, no, of a PU, as why he is, and how weird my family is. And then I told him at least he's not struggling to get a job his last year of college like you are. That's when he started insulting my family, saying how poor and losers they are. He said my dad is a stupid blue collar worker compared to his father, who's white collar. He said my mom is a stupid trash bee for, wow, reselling items that she buys at stores. He said his family will always be superior to mine. He said I should be embarrassed by my parents. He said my family will always be trashy and they should go back to their country. How many seconds would he have lived saying that to me? Maybe 5. I feel deeply hurt. This is the first time he has insulted them, and it hurts me the most because he called my mother a bee. He took it too far this time. I'm not sure how to proceed, so I'm writing to you. How you proceed is you break up. Why are you even asking this question? How are you going to be calling yourself somebody's girlfriend and you sleeping with him and kissing him and holding his hand and showing him love and affection, and he talks to you like you're garbage? He tells you that the family, the people that you came from, are trash. He calls your mother the B word. See, where I come from, that is, you get your ass kicked for some stuff like that. That I mean, if you even think about saying something like that to somebody, you already know their whole family's coming to your house and jumping you. There's certain things you just don't do. This is one of them. Now, I mean, it's fine that you was, I'm not saying that all of this because, the people shouldn't have interracial relationships. I'm not saying that because of that. But I'm saying this particular person is so rude, so negative, and so nasty and disgusting and racist. There's no way in this world that you should deal with him. Okay, sitting up there saying that, your family's trash and because your mother resells and stuff. And that's how she's making an honest living. And no matter what his father is, his father's white collar, so what? He's not. He's just a bum student just like you. All in all, young lady, it's just amazing to me that you are even asking what you should do. You should have broke up with him on the spot. There's no way. And when he said the first thing, when he called you a pathetic loser, that would have been the end of the relationship for me. But you kept talking to him. You want to, let him go deeper and deeper into insult land. And then you sat there and you listened to it. And then you wrote me about it to ask what you should do. I want to drop kick you to Mars. That's what I really want to do, is to maybe knock some sense into you. This makes no sense at all that you would tolerate this kind of mistreatment. It's the first time he did it, but it better be the last. You better leave this fool alone. Okay. You say you Asian, man. You need you some Yakuza relatives right about now so they could roll up on dudes with all their tattoos and say, what you say? Say it again. This is just unbelievable. Can you believe it? Yeah, I'll be ready to rumble. I'm just like, certain things we're just not going to do. Certain things we're not going to take. Certain things you're not going to say to me, or you're going to risk something. Be like my grandmother. We wouldn't even be saying anything that bad, but she didn't like what we said, or it sounded a little bit like you say like shoot, right? That's a little too close to cussing for her. And she would look at you and she would be like, do you want your lips? And she had the strength. Okay, this woman had so much strength in her hands that she could take like a rug. They had them little rugs. What are those kind of, I forgot what those kind of they were like loop rugs or something, old fashioned stuff people used to make up. And she could wring them out with her bare hands and hang it up on the clothesline, and barely any water would drip out of it. That's how much her hands were like the spin dry of a major washing machine. That woman had strength that was unbelievable in her hands. Her hand muscles had muscles. We he wasn't trying to mess with her. So if she said she'd get hold of your lips and she was going to twist them off, then I could really imagine myself being lipless. No, no, I'm good. I'm good. Granny would say, don't you say that again. Guess what? You right. I never will. And to this day, I still don't say shoot. I'll say shit, but I won't say shoot because my grandmother threatened to take my lips off my face, and that was good enough for me. I'm telling you, there's certain things you just don't do. And that's one of them, this family thing. So, yeah, girl, you better dump this fool. Question number 12, female 22 to 27. She's mixed race from Lexington, Kentucky, and the male in question is 28 to 34, and he's white. Summary of issue. What do you do with a boyfriend who is a picky eater as an adult? You get rid of him. What? Why is this a question? I'm in a new relationship. I'm living with a wonderfully fun and adventurous guy who is white. I have a white dad, but a black mom. We are going on about 10 months of living together. He's in his early 30s and I'm 25. He's a picky eater with the palate of a toddler. I can cook, he cannot. The only real issue we have, and really it's my issue, not his, he's perfectly happily not eating vegetables, having no seasoning, and only eating one type of bread, probably Wonder Bread. Oh my God, he doesn't like texture. He doesn't like food touching other foods, etc. I need a variety of textures and colors and good, well, just nutrients. I was concerned about this before he moved in, and it hasn't gotten better. But Deb, I don't want this to be a source of friction. Since moving in with me, he's returned to eating some of the vegetables he ate growing up. So instead of just liking corn and potatoes and peas, he now eats carrots and green beans. We went out to a restaurant with his family for someone's birthday. He ordered a meal with no vegetables, but he grabbed a string bean off my plate and ate it. Four members of his family whipped out their cell phones and took pictures. His parents were just agog at one string bean. Oh my God, girl. Ooh, okay. He's happy or seems to be eating fast food every day and will eat frozen, pre-made dishes or pizza for dinner if I don't cook something he likes. He was married before and his wife at the time was a picky eater too. They never cooked. It was takeout, frozen things, or sandwiches. He went years without eating fresh fruit or vegetables. Oh, can you imagine what his body smelled like? Gross. Okay, this is a little bit, you wrote too much. Okay, I don't want to force him. I want to try to talk to him and find out if he's happy with things are, if he wants to make a change. I also want to know how we can work together so that we can both be happy with what we are eating. And my greedy part, I want some of the pressure of always being the one to cook and plan meals to come off me. But I know that as a picky eater, this is a sensitive topic for him. I've done some research on picky eating and selective dating disorders, selective eating disorders, but there's mostly guidance for self-help, not much for people who live with them. Any advice for me? No, because see, you know what you're dealing with, and yet you stay. What you want is, and he's been like this forever, right? But you're refusing to accept that this is how it is, and you're trying to change him. And I'm telling you, that's never going to work. He is what he is. You are what you are. What does that mean? You know, to me, meal compatibility is kind of a cornerstone in a relationship, at least in the black household, and you know how that is. Mealtime is when everybody gets together. Mealtime is, when everybody sit down to talk smack to each other, laugh, joke, tell jokes, tell stories, poke fun at each other. I mean, it's important. I mean, part of that is cultural. That's where you get all that from. I can imagine, you got a white daddy, but I know your mom was in the kitchen throwing down, especially you living in the South and stuff. She was throwing down. So you used to eating collard greens and mustard greens and turnip greens and all kind of stuff, pies and whatnot, squash dishes, all kind of stuff, good Southern cooking. And he's not. So you have to decide, are you going to give all that up for this man? Are you going to just accept the fact that you dating a toddler? Probably happy eating, chicken nuggets and ketchup the rest of his life. The thing about it is, you seem to be, kind of concerned about his health and whatnot. He's going to die early. Even if he's young now, he's eating like this. The damage is already done. It's already started. His arteries are probably already clogged. He's headed towards diabetes and all kind of stuff is happening. He, like I said, is young enough that he can kind of counter it a little bit, but it's going to catch up to him within the next 5 years. So you have to decide, do I want a man who's going to be dead at 40? A man who, if I have kids with him, he's not gonna be around to help me raise them because he's gonna keel over. Worse yet is when they don't die and they just be all like, and just messed up. And in a wheelchair, you have to take care of him, and he's still gonna be eating like a toddler. For me, that would not work. I want a man who respects his body. I want him to respect his health, and I want him to do what he needs to do so that he can be there with me and them damn kids for a long time. Accidents are one thing, you don't control those. That's how mine got taken out. But he ate a very good diet. He was a great cook. I would never marry a man who couldn't cook. Why do you think I'm gonna be the one doing all the work? No. As a matter of fact, my husband cooks better than me. I mean, we cook different things well. Let me put it that way. Some things I cook well, some things. But I mean, between the two of us, we could throw down. I don't know. I don't understand what you're doing here. I mean, it's great that you love him and all this old stuff here, but I'm not seeing long-term compatibility here. I'm seeing that you're going to be building up to some major friction and conflict to the point where you're just going to be resenting him. So you better give that some thought. Yeah, he got to be able to cook, and he needs to be. He respect his body to the point. I'm gonna be having kids with you. Then you need to be here. Okay, you need to be here. You need to be able to fully function. I mean, plus, they already start getting clogged, and Mr. Willie stops working, and all they start, needing the blue pills, and then they can't take the blue pills because then they have heart problems. It's just a nightmare. The food is the core of your health. What you put into your body is the core of you. Your what's going to happen with you health wise. I don't know what else to tell you. You just sitting on a landmine. That's what's going on in that relationship. Question number 13, female 22 to 27 from Manchester in the UK. Summary of issue. I asked him to stop certain behaviors, but it continues. I'm not sure if I should cut my losses with this guy and just say our dating styles are too different or communicate my needs yet again. Again, I'm 27 and started seeing someone who's 29 about 4 months ago. I'm coming from a background of being married for 7 years, and he's coming from being single for 8 years. I try to take this into account when I see things from my perspective. But something upset me yesterday. I haven't communicated it yet because I wanted to think about it rationally and not engage with him from a place of emotion and anger. We hung out for a bit yesterday during the day. Before he came over, he went to a bar to see if some of our mutual friends were there. After we finished hanging out, he went back to the bar by himself to hang out with them some more. I was fine with this because I had some errands to run anyway. Then last night at midnight, he Snapchatted me and was at a third bar by himself, but said another female who I know and I'm not particularly fond of was also there. I appreciated the honesty because obviously without him telling me, I would not have known. I get along well with all of his other female friends from the local bars, but this woman that in particular does not acknowledge my existence, has never even made eye contact with me, and I've seen her probably 50 times, and she kisses him on the cheek and stuff when I roll my eyes at. We're American, and so is she. I feel pretty secure within the relationship, so I've just let her antics roll off my back. But last night in particular, I felt upset about it. I had asked him previously to stop liking her photos, all in lingerie, Instagram photos. And when he told me that they were there, I had an insecure moment and went back to look at her profile, and he still has been liking them. Uh-oh. I can see that he's putting in effort into the relationship, but I feel like this is something I communicated back that was important to me, and he disregarded it. I also feel like it's a lot to go to a bar 3 times in one day by yourself. He often goes and has lunch or dinner or a drink or two by himself at the bar, which doesn't bother me because he had been doing this for years while single and is friends with the bartenders. But this seemed like a bit much. What do you think about this? I think you need to dump him. Basically, he's a bar fly. Why do you want a boyfriend that goes from, he don't have nothing else to do with his time. He don't read a book, sit down with you and watch a movie, sit down with you and have a conversation. He just goes from bar to bar drinking. That's, I mean, if you just want to drink, I mean, why can't you drink at home? Why you spend all the extra money at a bar? Not just one bar, but 3 bars in one day. And then after he's been drinking all day, he just gonna happen to accidentally meet up with the woman that obviously likes him by her behavior, that shows she's attracted to him. The fact that he doesn't stop her from doing that means it's mutual. That's where Deb is with it. Because see, a dude who was really into you would tell her, don't be, stop doing that. Don't kiss me like that. The only person who can kiss me is my mom and or my mother. Okay, stop. But he hasn't done that, has he? And he's all over Instagram, and you asked him politely to please stop to respect you in your relationship by not liking some random woman's pictures in lingerie, but he does it anyway. So what does that tell you? That means that she's more important to him than you are. That's what that means, in case you're not understanding it. So what does that mean for you? That means it's time for you to dip out on this relationship. That's what that means. Unless you want to continue being disrespected and ignored. I mean, of course, that's your right. It's free country and all. You can do that if you want to. But, you wrote me for advice. And so I'm telling you what time it is. I'm giving you the honest assessment of what his behavior means so that you can make a decision in your own best interest. And the decision I'm suggesting that you make is that you tell him, our idea of commitment seems to be very different. So you don't have to blame him. You don't have to say, well, you was with that woman. And yeah. You don't have to go there. All you have to do is maintain your dignity and say, something's up. It's like, over the period of whatever time that we've been together, I've noticed that your idea of what a committed relationship and mine are vastly different. And I'm just really not comfortable with, the options that you present. It's not really meeting my needs. I'm not happy in this situation. And there's something else that I want in relationship and you don't seem to be able to provide it. So let's just stop seeing each other. It can be very calm. You don't have to go off on people and stuff like that because you already see what time it is. I'm telling you. You're going to hang around and then he finally going to break the news to you that he's with her and then dump you in. So you may as well you may as well be the one who leads this parade. Jump out there in the front. Okay. Question number 14, female 28 to 34. She's Black from Toronto, Canada. Summary of issue, coping with my overbearing mother. I know she loves me, but her version of love is one that oversteps acceptable boundaries for an adult child. I'm 33 years old. The most recent event is her trying to wade into my professional life and instruct me about what to do to advance my career. To the point that all of the last 5 or 6 phone calls, she has brought it up with her new favorite topic. It's not advice anymore that I didn't even ask for. It is relentlessly shoving her opinion down my throat until I agree with her, which I don't. It ends up in me angrily telling her to mind her own business. This is after years of relentlessly telling me, she loves that word, relentless, telling me how I should quit my job when I have children. I don't have any. I did finally erupt in anger at that as well. It took me too long, though. On a recent note is one my children will live to, quote, hate me if I have a job while raising them. But I also must toil tirelessly to advance my career, which I'll then have to give up. I know she wants the best for me, but it is constantly conflicting and just has no recognition of my ability and agency to make decisions for myself as a competent adult. She's the same with my sibling who just agrees with everything she says to get her off his back. I try the opposite approach of telling her it's not her decision and I'll make my own decisions. Neither approach seems to work, though. Every now and again, my anger boils over and I need to vent. Okay, nah. Okay, then she says she's rude to the father's side of the family. Okay, skip. Please tell me there are other people out there with this insanity in their lives. I don't know if it is or not, but that's irrelevant. Who cares if other people are being stupid like you? Okay? I don't understand people who always want to know, how many other people are being stupid. Like the fact that there's other people are being stupid and making stupid decisions and behaving in a stupid way somehow makes you feel better. There's company in being stupid, and so you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm okay because I'm not the only stupid one, and other people are stupid too, and you that comforts you. I don't know what to say, because I would never want to ask somebody, is there other people who are being stupid like me out there? I would hope that I was the only one. I wouldn't want anybody else to be dumb like me. But yeah, we get a lot of these letters, and Candace tells us she's least that part sometimes because it's just so common. They all want to know if somebody else is being as dumb as them. And it's embarrassing, girlfriend. It's embarrassing that you should ask that question. So I'm going to say this. What you need to do is tell your mother, look, I'm tired of you nosing into my business like that. If you can't stop talking about stuff that, it has to do solely with me, nothing to do with you, then I'm just not going to talk to you because you're just too aggravating. You get on my last nerve. I'm going to put your butt on the timeout. And then you put her number on block and leave her on timeout for a month or 2 or 3. She'll be all right. Then, when you call, when you finally lift the block and she can talk to you, she'll be happy that the ban has been lifted and she can, now have a conversation with you. The second that she starts nosing in again, you put her back on block for another timeout. It's like it's aversion therapy. That's what you're going to do. So she won't be able to talk to you and tell you these things and hurt your feelings and insult your intellect and make you feel like a child and all the other things that her conversation tends to do. I'm fully in the corner of putting parents on a timeout. Sometimes they need that. I don't know why. But that's just what you have to do sometimes for your own mental health. She'll be okay with it. She'll live. It's all right. Question number 15, female, 20 to 34 age group from Stoke-on-Trent in the UK. Isn't that just an interesting name? It's like, I want to go there just so I can see what it looks like. When I moved in with my boyfriend 3.5 years ago, I felt a little vulnerable and unsure of myself. It's his house, and me and my 2 children from a previous relationship were moving in. I now feel perhaps the power dynamics are a bit off, but I don't know what to do about it. Have I let it go too long? For example, there are strict house rules. No walking around in pajamas or any form of nightwear. No television. No microwave. No toys or books outside of the kids' rooms. No eating or drinking outside of the kitchen. Everything is extremely neat and tidy. He decides on places for everything. I have to point out that he also follows these rules himself. I just sometimes feel like it's all a bit much, all a bit controlling, and I wonder if it's normal. No, it's not normal. Well, and what's wrong with you? Why would you move children into an environment like that? I mean, I'm all for kids cleaning up and keeping their messes picked up and stuff like that. That part of them learning that is great. But at what expense? I mean, to the point where you can't even be comfortable in your own house. You can't walk around in your pajamas and stuff. What do you got to go to the bathroom? You got to change into a whole few in the middle of the night. You got to change into an outfit because he's going to see you in your pajamas in the hallway or something. Girl, I don't know what you're doing, but this sounds like a very controlling and abusive situation to put some children into. He's just way too rigid for me. That wouldn't work for me. I mean, you understand it, but I mean, see, this is the kind of stuff before, and you've been there 3.5 years with this nonsense, and you just now figuring out that this is off and something's wrong with him. Oh my God. Oh Lord. As you can see, I'm speechless. I just don't even know what to say. Stoke-on-Trent. Girl, find you a place and move you and your kids out. Break up with this clown and live your life. Okay? Find a normal man. Well, I mean, I'm not saying kids have to have the house a complete wreck because I don't like that either. You play with a toy, you put that toy back before you get another one. We're not gonna have 92 toys on the floor. We're not gonna do that. Put your clothes away, and stuff like that. I mean, my daughter learned how to do that when she was 3. She was even folding her own clothes. Like I would give her stuff. I showed her how to fold her little t-shirts and put her little pants on the hanger and stuff. I would hang them up in the closet, but I taught her how to do it at 3. So there's no excuse for kids to leave messes all over the damn house like some parents let them do and then complain about it. No, you made that mess. You better pick it up. Because I told my daughter exactly one time, I said, okay, I'm going to tell you to clean all the stuff up off the floor. If I come back in here, anything that's on the floor, I'm throwing it away. And I did. I put it all in the bag and tossed it out. Well, actually, I gave it to a church a few blocks away. Oh, my gosh, she hooped and hollered and went to food. I said, but see, did mommy tell you to pick all the stuff up off the floor? Yes, mommy. I said, so why didn't you do it? I don't know. But I bet you every time after that, I said, pick that stuff up off the floor. But honey, she was moving to pick that stuff off the floor. And that's all you have to do. If you're a parent and you say what you mean and mean what you say, then your children will believe you. But if you always say something, but then you don't ever follow through, then your kids know you're just selling wolf tickets. And guess what? They don't listen to you. There's no respect for you as the person who's authority in your own household. I'm not saying you got to be a fool like this one, but I'm saying if you tell your children to do a chore, to do, their homework, to do whatever they're supposed to be doing, a right and proper behavior, and you tell them, go wash yourself, you stink. That kids, because they hit them preteens, they start getting funky. They need to bathe, and you tell them to do that, and then they don't get to moving. No, we're not having that. Anytime you start feeling like that way, you need to move out. You need to have your own spot. That's what my daughter had to move out. Bye. It's time for you to go fly the nest, little girl, because you just doing the most over here. And so that was that. I gave her ass the boot. She was 18. She came back though, but she had a good new attitude 6 months later because she had been out there struggling. And she realized it's much nicer here with mommy. So she came back with a new attitude. I let her back in. You know, I'm not going to have her be homeless or nothing like that, but this is just too much, girl. This dude is just too much. Question 16, female 22 to 27, Denver, Colorado. Summary of issue. I found an empty box of condoms, that my fiance bought and we did not use. Hey, Deb, here's the story. It seems my fiance bought a box of condoms that we did not use, but the box was completely empty. I had the next planning. I don't know how to pronounce this. Birth control, so we never used condoms. I FaceTimed him and asked him where the condoms were, and he said in his car. He got home from work and he brought some condoms in from his vehicle, but the empty box only had 3 in it, and then he brought in 4. He threw some receipts in the trash, and I looked at them. One was for the 3-pack of condoms that he bought on October 21st. I got my birth control removed on the 25th, and he didn't know that I was going to get it removed before I did it. He wanted me to move it, and he wants kids really bad. And then the second receipt was for the 31st after I called him. He bought a 10-pack of them. I found the other 6 condoms, so his 10-pack is accounted for, but those first 3 are just nowhere. He insisted that he bought them for us and then just misplaced them, so he brought the 10-pack so that I wouldn't get mad and question where the 3 had gone because he lost them. And he knew what I would think. I calmly just asked him where they were and why he brought them before he even knew that we would need them. And he just said that he must have felt like we would need them. He then raged and got mad. Of course he did, because he was feeling guilty and yelled and is acting like he's going to break up with me. And that I'm so awful for accusing him of cheating on me. And I wasn't really accusing him, although I could see why he would think that. I just generally wanted the situation to make sense. I felt like I needed to ask him about it so that I didn't blow things up in my head and make it worse. So basically, I don't know what to do, or if I believe him and I don't want to break up, we live together. Lives are totally entangled. But if he did cheat on me, then I know I can't stay. This is my first relationship, and we've been together for over a year. And I'm just really lost, and I have no one to talk to about this. Help me. I don't know what to do. Yeah, he cheated. He cheated. First of all, let me explain something to you since you're trying to act brand new and dumb. Even if he bought condoms, he would have said, babe, when you get your birth control out, I got some condoms. But if he's trying to get you pregnant, why would he need the condoms? See, so even that doesn't make any sense. So since he bought condoms and he would tell you if he bought them for you guys, right? But since he didn't tell you, and since there was some that's missing and he had them in his car, isn't that awful handy for when he's going to be out with somebody that's not you, because y'all be doing your stuff at the house. But he had them in his car. So that means he was taking them with him somewhere. Or he was going to be using them in the back seat of the car. Either way, if you stay with him, you're stupid, because that means that you want to believe a lie. That's what that means. All the evidence is right in your face. I mean, you were good at figuring it out. That's why he started raging, because he was mad. He's mad, but not because of this conversation or because you accused him of cheating. He's mad because he got found out, because he's so bad at it that you weren't even trying, and you just such a noob at it, but you still found out. You still caught him. That's why he was raging, because it's like he feels guilty. He's trying to make it, flip the script so that you get on the defensive, which worked for you, and versus still staying focused on attacking him for cheating. So my thing is, you call him your fiance and all this old stuff here, but why would you marry a man who blatantly lied to you and cheated on you, and you know it? You need to understand this is your first relationship. When a man treats you badly and you stay with him, or he breaks up with you and then you take him back, you set a standard, and the standard is underground, is so low. You're letting him know that he's more important to you than you are to yourself. You're telling him that I don't care about myself. I have no self-esteem, have no confidence. I don't even know what I'm doing in life. I have no direction and no purpose without you. That's what you're telling him. And so when he comes back, do you think he's going to respect and cherish you? Do you think that you're going to be treated the way that you always imagined you'd be treated? You're going to be dogged even more. And you know why? Because he knows that you'll take it. He knows he doesn't have to treat you well because you're not going nowhere. Even if you throw a little fit and a little pity party or something, he's still going to be able to get what he wants from you because you need him more than you need yourself. You communicate that by staying with someone who blatantly disrespects and cheats on you versus leaving him alone. There's no repercussions in your world for him. You just stay there and try to pretend like you don't know what's going on. So, like I said, this is just your choice. You're going to have to make the decision. I can't make that for you. Some women like to stay with men who cheat. I mean, that's your red wagon. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But, since you wrote and you're trying to figure out if he cheated, the answer is absolutely multiple times. There would be no reason for him to buy a 10 plus a 3-pack of condoms. And those are just the ones you know about. Dude was bold to just bring them all up in the house. It's almost like he wanted you to know he was cheating. This is interesting. All right, let's move on. Question number 17, male 22 to 27. He's African American from Fort Worth, Texas. Summary of issue. Are women really turned off by men who still live with their mothers? Y'all chime in on this one. He's in the 22 to 27 age group, so he's a young cat, Do you think the women in his age group would be turned off by men who still live with their mothers? Let's say the man in question is quite independent. He has a good paying job. He knows how to drive a car and is a healthy person. The only cachet is he has never moved out before. Does it really matter, especially in this, quote, high cost of living crisis? Well, it's going to matter to some women, of course, and probably not to others. You just have to find a woman who it's not going to matter to. Because quiet as it's kept, a lot of women in your age group are still living at home too, or they moved out and they had to move back because of, the global situation. Impacted people's jobs. They lost them. They lost cars. They lost all kind of stuff. So a lot of people were forced back into, multi-family living situations or back to living with parents. But we're not talking about them. We're talking about you. You've never moved out. So that all that doesn't apply to you because you never had to come back because you never left in the first place. Now, you don't say where you are in that 22 to 27 age group, which, leaves some question, of course, in my mind. The ladies here are putting their thoughts into your question. So please check the chat when you come back to hear your answer. You listen to me, but go over here and check the chat too. And I would say that is risky, okay? Where are you going to have privacy to date her? Your mother's going to always be there. So that means you're going to have to always come to her spot. Do you know how exhausting that is? And it's like she's looking at you like, okay, well, I'm working and got a car and everything, and I, paying for myself to live here. What's your problem? Why are you still living at home with your mama? And that's going to be a valid question, and you're going to have to answer. It's going to be, at least, are you paying your mother some rent? Are you doing it? Are you just keeping all your money in your pocket, living like you're still 12? What's going on there? How much of the household responsibilities do you shoulder financially? Are you still living like you her little kid? These are things that women are going to ask you, and you better have some answers. Question number 18, female 22 to 27 from Carmel, Indiana. Summary of issue. My boyfriend of 6 months has asked me to move in with him. Help. My boyfriend and I have been seeing each other since early summer. I've spent every weekend with him, and during the week, I've been staying over and going to work, having dinner each night, etc. I currently live with my parents. He has asked me if I want to move in officially. Do you think 6 months is too soon? I'm 27 and he's 32. He has his own place. Well, I should hope he does at 32. I got stung rather in my last relationship being with someone for 6 years. And when we finally moved in together, we broke up within 6 months as we were not compatible. I will never make that mistake again, but at the same time, I don't want to rush things. I need opinions from you and the squad, please. Well, I would not recommend it, but you're 27. I mean, you spend a lot of time over there already, but you can always have the option to go home. So if you move in, you're not going to have that option no more. Are you ready for that? Do you feel like you know him well enough in 6 months? And I'm like, why would you spend all this time with somebody you've only been dating for a few months here? I don't understand this like globbing on thing. The man can't breathe, and neither can you. You over there all the damn time. Go home. Don't you know how to make a man miss you? Think about you, fantasize about you, want to call you, want to see you, put some energy into it. You just go move in so that everything is easy access for him. It's all convenient. You don't have to do nothing but just roll over. See, this is why I don't think women should, he's not motivated to want to be with you real tough when you just move in like that, especially so early in the game. I don't get it, these young girls. Well, somebody's saying that he wants a second income. He might, but if he's been living by himself all this time, he can afford it. She'd be over there all the time anyway. But I'm thinking that it's just too soon. I'm thinking you should cut back on how much time you spend over there. You should be over his place no more than 2 or 3 times a week at the most. And spend the rest of the time at your house doing something constructive with yourself. Read some books, learn something, do something to make some damn money. Do something positive. Spend some time with your relatives, your mom and dad. You know they're not gonna be here forever. You busy around chasing after some dude and clown you just met. Girl, you better rethink your life. Question number 19, female, 22 to 27. She's African American from Peoria, Illinois. Summary of issue: I think I was ghosted after 3 dates. And she put like hella exclamation marks. I am 24 years old, and I met this guy who was a year or so older on the swipey thing about a month ago. We talked a little, then we went for drinks the next day and ended up hanging for the whole day. Walking, talking, we had dinner, and then I went home that night. He texted me consistently throughout the week, like every hour or so, and set up a plan to have dinner again the following weekend. We had kissed by this time, but nothing more. I felt like it was escalating a bit too fast on the physical side, so I broke it off. After a kiss, okay. The next week, he started texting less frequently, and we made plans for dinner again for the third weekend running. I remember I was going through something, so I didn't text for the whole day before the day we met, just mentioning because I'm confused about any possible reasons. We hung out, but he said it was getting late at around 10ish and that it was best for us to go home. The previous 2 times, we usually went home around midnight. We kissed again and cuddled on the train, and he seemed upbeat for the most part. He mentioned things about us meeting up more in the future. Then, over the previous week, he had said that we should do an activity the following weekend and that he was looking forward to it. But now the texts are very spaced out and infrequent. I start overthinking, so I also text back infrequently and also unmatch him on the app on Thursday. We don't talk on there, we text. Saturday comes and he doesn't reply to my last message till on Friday, something about time off from school. So I text him on Sunday saying that I hope he enjoys the rest of his weekend. He hasn't said anything since. I'm just very confused. If he was intending to ghost me since the first date, then why would he continue to text me and arrange to meet again? He also hasn't blocked my number, which adds to the confusion. He never made physical advances or hinted at anything happening when it's time for us to go home. My best guess is that he found someone else and is blowing me off. I'm just really confused and pretty hurt. What are the possible reasons for this? The possible reasons are that you're stupid. You're stupid. Let me just make it clear. You're dumb. Okay, you do some old messed up stuff with dude. Okay, you because he kissed you, you rushed to the oh it's getting too physical. It's just advancing too fast, and then you broke it off. That's what you wrote here in the second paragraph. Okay, so y'all went on one date. He's texting you. He's trying to set up dinner again. It was too physical for you, so you say so you broke it off. But then he kept texting you anyway, a little less frequently, because he's trying to gauge what did he do something wrong? I mean, what happened that made you take that drastic step? But you're still communicating with him, so he's like, okay, well maybe I'll just slow down a little bit. Maybe I was just coming on too strong. That's what's going on in his mind. I could tell. So then so you still talking to him and you still going. So then he's like, okay, that's what it was. I was a little bit too forward. So let me end this at 10 o'clock instead of midnight and get her home at a sensible time before it starts getting, too close to booty call time. That's what he's thinking. Okay. Then his texts are very spaced out and infrequent. And you start overthinking it, right? So you text back infrequently, and then you take another drastic step to unmatch him on the app, like he's not gonna know that you unmatched him. Unmatching someone sends a definite signal of this is the end. Okay, so now you've already displayed two breakup behaviors towards this guy before anything even really jumps off. Okay, so then, he doesn't reply to your text, and you're confused about it and trying to figure out if he uh, found someone else. He may have, but if he did, it's because you, like I said, was acting stupid. He was being stupid. You don't understand what your behavior communicates. Are you really that dense? You don't understand that what you did is clear. Send a clear message to this man that you're not interested in him, but yet you want him to still communicate to you. And you're trying to act all brand new and confused, like you don't understand why he stopped talking to you because you unblocked, because you unmatched him after already having told him, already broken it off. Okay, so that's two things to let him know that you're not interested. So he's like, "Why am I gonna keep taking this bitch out and spending my money and time wasting on her? Let me go find somebody else who wants what I want." That's what happened. So let me just explain this to you. In the future, keep your hands away from the phone because you seem to get confused. If you're not interested in the man, then don't kiss him and don't see him but one time. If you are interested and he kisses you and he wants to hold your hand and stuff like that, then you move forward up the scale of intimacy until you do the horizontal mambo. But you stop playing these stupid games. You're too old for this. Okay? You're just too old. It's just silly that you even had to write a letter to try. What could be his reasons for this? Like you don't know. Question number 20, female 22 to 27. She's Asian from Edmonton, Canada. Summary of issue. My female cousin got a new handsome and tall boyfriend, and my mom is sad that my boyfriend doesn't compare. Oh, what's wrong with these mothers tonight? Okay. Dad, my mother is, as you say, quote, doing the most. She sat me down for a, quote, discussion and told me that my female cousin got a new boyfriend who's apparently tall and handsome. She started crying because she said I'm so pretty and educated and have a high-paying job, etc., and yet I don't have a boyfriend that looks like that. I mean, she was crying real tears. Mom said it's such a, quote, waste, and her chest started to hurt when she saw the picture of the guy because she's so sad and jealous that I don't date someone who looks like that. She even went on to say that he has such a friendly face, and she can just tell that he must be so nice and polite and calm, even though she's literally never met him before. She thinks my boyfriend is too unattractive and short and not educated enough for her prized daughter. I told her that I don't know what to do with this information and that I'm exhausted. I told her to talk to a therapist because she can't stop unloading a lot of this shit onto me. She told me, why would I need to see a therapist when I talk to you about these things? I feel better. So you're basically my therapist. I told her she needs to figure out why so many of my life choices and partner affects her so much, and she makes me feel as if I have to be ashamed of my loving boyfriend. If you or me, how would you have handled this conversation? Oh boy. That's always a question that's fraught with danger. Because you know how my temper is. I flash on people. I mean, I could be very calm and just sitting there looking at you and just like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then you say that one thing, that one straw on the camel's back that gets on my nerves, and then all bets are off. Especially, if this is a repetitive pattern. I mean, somebody just does something once or twice, I'm pretty calm. But this seems to be a repetitive pattern with your mother, right? She's constantly at you about this, your cousin's boyfriend, and comparing you and your man based on looks. I would have to tell my mother, how shallow can you be? You looking at a picture, you don't even know if the boyfriend is real. She just found that picture online. You don't know nothing. But here you are trying to condemn your daughter, the person that you're supposed to be loving and respecting and supporting, because she doesn't have a, quote, boyfriend who looks like that. You don't know what kind of clown this guy is. He could be beating her behind, cheating on her, lying to her, and all kinds of stuff. But because he looks a certain way, you've ascribed all these angelic qualities to him. Do you know how stupid you sound right now? Yes, I would have said that to my mother. You sound stupid. And it's embarrassing that you're talking like this to me at your age. You sound like a new teenager going on and on about how cute some boy is. It's embarrassing. I gotta go. Then I would have left and I would have put her behind on block so she couldn't talk to me. She needed time out. Mom, you're in the corner. You're in the corner. Don't come out of the corner. Nose to the corner. You're going to stay there on timeout. That's what I would have done. Because there's no way in this world I would sit there and let her talk to me crazy like that. I probably would have been shocked at first and just sat there and looked at her for a little bit. Then, that flash would have happened. Match lit. And the flames would have started. Yeah. Shallow and immature as they come to be someone's mother. Of course, she could have clowned her mother and say, well, what you so worried about what I have? What about you? Like it was like, like you chose this prize for my daddy. You got somebody who was raggedy and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Even if it wasn't true, you still say it because you want to put her in her place. About, it was, you didn't wait for somebody who was tall and handsome and all these other things before you had me. And you subjected me to some ugly genes. You weren't too worried about it then, so shut up and don't worry about it now. Something along those lines. I don't know. These mothers tonight are just kind of special. Question number 21, male, 22 to 27. He says, I'm a white guy from San Mateo, California. Summary of issue. Why do women eat food off of my plate without my permission? That is a good question. I'm glad you asked that. Let's explore this issue. I've been dating since I was 17 years old and I'm 26 now. Deb, every single woman I've ever been with has taken food off my plate and often without asking. I've had women try it even on a first date. The most annoying part is when I ask, hey, I'm going to go grab some takeout. Would you like anything? And she says, no, she isn't hungry. But when I get back home, all of a sudden she's hungry and starts eating off my plate and sometimes asks if she can eat half. Of course, I get irritated. Then she acts like I'm the bad guy for not offering some of my food. Most of my male friends have said that their female partners do this as well. So it doesn't just seem like my bad luck. Have you ladies experienced this in a relationship? I mean, I'm trying to figure out if men do this as well, or is it just a woman only thing? Well, that's a good question. No, men do it too. Men do it too. What they do though is like, okay, say you come back and you have a burger. Okay. They say, oh, just give me a bite. Okay. Then remember that letter last week where the girl talked about how the guy she was dating unhinged his jaw like a snake? That's what they do. And I learned it with my brothers. I swear, okay, you have a burger. You got a burger and your burger's, like this, right? Your burger. Wait, how can I? Okay, here's your burger, right? Your burger. And then they can take one bite and eat 3/4 of it. And it's like, how does this even work? How does this happen? It's like unnatural to watch their jaw just like unhinged from here. Their mouth opens this wide and then they shove it as far back as they can and then bite. And then you're left with this little half moon shaped piece of what was your hamburger. And they go, well, I only took a bite. And that's true. They did only take a bite. But it's like, a brontosaurus burger bite. It's just ridiculous. I don't understand it. But I've seen that happen too many times. And I just don't know. Wait a minute. What did I do? I laid my stuff down here and got my stuff all mixed together. Oh, shoot. Oh, okay. Here we go. I figured it out. I got it now. But, I'm so you go and you ask them and you try to figure out what to say. I'm going to tell you what to say. So when you say, do you want anything? And they say, no, they're not hungry. Then that's when you say, okay, I'm going to get my food. This is your last chance. When I come back, you're not getting nothing off of my plate and I'm not sharing my food with you. I'm going to ask you one more time. Do you want anything while I'm going to pick up something for me with that in mind? That's what you say. Okay. So you can give them, food for thought. And then you're putting them on notice. When I get back, don't ask me for nothing because I'm not giving it to you. I've had guys try to reach into my plate like they want to get a fry or something. And I don't understand. Is that some kind of test of dominance? Like to see if you're going to let them take your food, if you're like, because they like, it's a training thing that you do with dogs so that they don't become aggressive with their food. You teach them that, you can reach your hand in their food, and they're not to bite you. It's not whether it's their natural instinct to protect their food, but with aggression. That's animal instinct. But you train them to let you, no one else, just you, still put your hand in their food bowl and all this kind of stuff. So to me, it's an act of them showing some kind of dominance and some kind of way to check and make sure that you're like well trained and timid and mild and all this kind of stuff. And I, because we used to have dogs, and my dad used to train them. I probably, over the course of my lifetime, about 20 different dogs. And it's like, so I'm not going for that. I saw it happen with the dogs, and they get trained to, just sit there and let you do it. I mean, they don't like it. You can tell they don't like it, but they know not to show aggression because they're going to be in trouble. And my daddy was no joke. So they don't do anything. But, I'm not a dog. Okay, I'm not a Doberman. I'm not a German Shepherd. I'm not a Labrador Retriever. I'm not none of those dogs like we had. I'm not them. I'm a human being, and you're not gonna put your grubby mitts in my food. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. I don't even share food. You know how people say, "Oh, let's get this and let's split it." Nope. You get your own, and I'll get my own. Even if I have to take some of mine to go, I'm not sharing. I'm not gonna do it. Yeah, I think it's a test, don't you? I mean, I know most people don't really think about it, but I used to look at that and see, especially on a first date, who would do such a thing? That's so disrespectful. You just gonna take some food off of somebody's plate. You don't even know this person. To that, it has to be a test. I mean, think about it. I mean, you guys might have some ideas about, some other aspect of it, but I'm just telling you from my perspective, it's the test of dominance and of what you're going, how much what the boundaries are, and if you're going to allow them to push them. And I shut that shit down every time. It's like, nope, get out of my plate. If you wanted something, you should have asked them. And what I'll do is I'll take like my fork, because they usually give you two forks, right? Or I'll pick up that knife and I'll start batting their hand with it and smacking them like I'm a school teacher. And they'll be like, ow, that hurts. Yeah, well, reach your hand into your plate. Stay out of mine. I don't like that. Yeah, because these days, people just, some people, they say, well, I washed my hands. That was 2 hours ago. You done touched 900 different things, including the door to come into this restaurant. That we don't know where them people's hands have been, and you have not used no hand sanitizer or nothing. You're not reaching in my plate. No, get out of here, your fungus fingers. We're not going to do that. I'm telling you, pat, 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 pat on that hand. I like, speaking on a side note, I just have to say, I like to watch TikTok sometimes. And I love those animal ones where the dog comes rushing up to the cat and the cat goes, pat, and they put the sound, the slap sound effects on there. I will watch that for 10 minutes. The little cat going, pat, pat, slapping the hell out of them dogs. And the dog just looks all surprised. Okay, I'm so easily entertained. I watch cat slapping videos. It's too funny. Oh boy. Okay, well, we finished with the food snatchers. Let's move on to question number 22 of 25. We're nearing the end. Let me just put this up again. Yeah, them kitties be wearing them dogs out. It's too funny. Let me, what was I trying to do? Oh, right. This. If you want to submit a question for a future What the Fuck Tuesday relationship advice show, just follow instructions scrolling across the screen there. Debsterism.com, click the form that says get advice, and then your letter can be featured on an upcoming show. Okay, maybe, if Candace picks it. Candace is my cousin, and you think I'm evil. She's 10 years older than me and just crazy. She used to babysit me when I was little, do my hair and stuff. But no, she's mean. All right, so let's move on. So she's 18 to 21. This is question 22. She's a Latina from Houston, Texas. Summary of issue. I tried a dating app and I ended up being literally terrified. So long story short, I messaged a guy on what you call a swipey thing that I matched with. He asked if I'm available late night twice. And I told him I'm not available during the nighttime twice because I was at school and I already had my plan for that day. I was considered and told him I did not have any availability for nights. He texted me this, which I quote, okay, my mistake. I'm sure you have hundreds of guys to choose from, such that you won't even propose another time to meet. Fine. I love how, thanks to the internet, fat, average looking girls can cosplay as supermodels. I posted here because I want to ask you how to deal with a guy like this. So next time, if it happens to me again, I know how to deal with it. Well, you said he texted you. What you immediately block him, but what you could have texted back is say, well, I knew you were a sorry, bad attitude having loser, and that's why I said I don't have time to go with you. I could sense it. And you proved me right. So once again, have a nice life and better yet don't. And then block him. But these dudes, they trip me out. They're such poor. I mean, they have no kind of self-respect. I mean, it's like, because you want to go out with you that night, late at night, and she says no. I mean, what nut would do get up and go out and meet a complete stranger late at night? Let's start there. Her safety, her very life could be at risk, and you want to make it something about your ego and trying to say that she's fat and what did he say? A fat, average-looking girl. Well, was average enough for you to be trying to hit on and gets to go out with you tonight. So, I mean, what? You realize how stupid you sound now? You just mad because somebody don't want to be with you. And now I'm mad and glad I'm not. And then that's when I just had to read him. Like, oh, call me so we can have a conversation. And as soon as he said hello, my mouth would have started going. Knucklehead. These kind of guys, man, I know most of you girls, you get intimidated and you don't say anything. You just be all shocked and all up in your feelings about the stuff they said. These are the kind of dudes you need to blow their hair back. You need to tell him about himself starting from when he was born. You need to get into his very DNA and criticize him. Criticize his mother, criticize his father, criticize his very siblings, his life existence, his grandparents, everything. Everybody in his family is stupid and crazy and deformed and all this other stuff, defective, mentally deficient, cretin, it's all, anything you can think of. And start from there and just read him until he either hangs up or your voice wears out. And just talk about him like a dog. That's why you're gonna die old and alone with some cats, right, ladies? Ain't that what the brothers be pulling out? You're gonna die old and alone with some cats because nobody wants you. You can't even find a date on the internet. As easy as that is, this is full of people, but you still can't get nobody to go out with you. So that just shows you a total loser. Man, you are the loser of the losers. You are king loser with the crown. Whatever else you want to say. I mean, I'm just being silly at this point, but you know what I mean? I can't even imagine how rude I would be. But yeah, you don't try to hurt your feelings because you said no. That means it's again, that's just when they act like that, it gives me a license to act a fool, which is something I would love to just do for GP. But this one they give you a permit, give you a license for it. So take advantage of that and go smooth off. AWF off. Question 23 of 25, female 18 to 21. She's Caucasian from Spokane Valley, Valley, Washington. Summary of issue: how do I say, quote, I am uncomfortable to this guy politely who is not getting the hints? Okay, here we go with that uncomfortable again. Didn't I just talk about that? Didn't I just do a 5-minute tirade about the word uncomfortable on last Tuesday's show or the Sunday before show? No, that's right. It was the advice night, $10 advice night. Yes, call him whatever you want to call him, except handsome and lovely, because he just you lose your mind right quick. Okay, she wanted to tell him she's uncomfortable. So there's this guy who was a year senior to me in high school. We weren't that friendly during that time, but after I started college, he keeps texting me and wants to meet. He is now 24 and I am 21. At first, it was all fine and good, but now it seems very annoying and borderline creepy. Out of courtesy, I have met him a couple of times and I replied to his text. But my God, I had thought he would get that would be enough, but apparently it isn't. I'm not very comfortable since I don't know him that well and can't seem to connect with him. At the same time, I don't know how to tell him off since he has been nothing but nice all the while and I might be overthinking it. My other concern is that I have been able to ignore him for a long time since he still lives in my hometown, but he is shifting to the city I currently live in next month and the persuasions have started already. What should I do? What should you do? You should text him back and say, it seems to me that you're expecting something to jump off here. I mean, I could be wrong, but, I just want to make it really clear that I'm not interested in dating you. I'm not really interested in hanging out with you. I just, you're just someone that I kind of casually know, but, let's not, don't press me to get together with you. and for all these calls and stuff, none of that's going to happen. When you move here, that's fine. I mean, I can't tell you where to live, but don't expect anything to start up here because you're closer. I want to make that very clear. Okay. Whatever we have, a little texting buddy relationship, that's it. The times I have spent, spending time with you, I'm going to cut that out. We're not going to be seeing each other. We're not going to be dating. I'm not going to be hanging out with you. You're not coming to my house, and I'm not coming to yours. You need to be very specific about all those kind of things because, you leave any room for doubt, any box unticked is going to be the thing that he brings up as an issue. Well, we don't have to go on a date. You can just come and hang over. You see where I'm going with this? We don't have to go on a date. We're not dating or anything, but let me just come over and hang out and watch a movie or something. You see where I'm going with this? So you have to put that on the list of things if we're not going to do. We're not going to do that. Okay? Heed my warning and do this now. If he says anything and comes back and tries to do it again, you're going to just send him that same text over and over until he gets it. If he doesn't insist, want to particularly get it, then just change your number. Don't even block him, just change it. So he can't text you and he can't call you. Make sure anything on your social media that has a phone number listed does not list your real phone number. I don't know why so many women do that. You get a Google phone number, and that's the number that you use online. People can call that till their fingers turn on to nubs, but they'll never get you. You can call them back if you want to. It'll take a message. So you can set up so it even rings to your phone. You can answer it if you want to. But it's a barrier of protection that I think all single women should have. Whether you have a Google number or whatever else you have, whatever kind of internet phone service, VoIP service that you use, every woman who is out here dating should have such a setup where people do not have your real phone number. They have that number, and that's the only way that they reach you. Y'all need to be a little wiser and protect yourselves a little bit more. Because with Google, I mean, you could just go and say, "Oh, I'm gonna give up that number," and then switch to a different one. What they gonna do? That happens instantly. I'm trying to tell you, honey, I should do an ad for Google. I believe in that product so much. It's just so, emails come, you can do chats on there, all these things, and they will never have your real phone number. Ever, never, 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 never. It's so beautiful. But you have to sign up for it and you have to use it. You have to use it all the time. You don't just use it and say, "Oh, well, I trust him now." You met the clown online. You don't know what he's all about. You be inviting him to your house and whatnot. Okay, question number 24, female 22 to 27 from Phoenix, Arizona. Summary of issue. My boyfriend has been disclosing my health issues and our lack of eggplant to other women. Even after I told him, it made me betrayed and disrespected. Trifling. So I have reproductive health issues that can cause a low drive. My lack of drive is ruining my relationship, even though I explained what's going on with my body. A week ago, I found out that my boyfriend has been talking to his, quote, friends about my issue, but does not explain to the full extent. Basically, he just tells them she won't have intimacy with me. He knows I don't like that he is disclosing this part of our relationship and my health issues, but last night he did it again. It just sucks seeing and hearing these girls tell him that I am the red flag and that he deserves better. I asked him, "How would you feel if your eggplant didn't work?" And I started telling other guys. And his response, "Well, that's different." Is it really different, though? Because I personally don't think it is. I understand that this can be extremely frustrating for partners, but this has been my whole life. He keeps trying to tell me and the others that he's talking to and that he is being supportive, but he just keeps telling me to go to the doctor I have, which is how I know what the issues are. And basically saying, but he needs it. But Deb, I'm not going to do it when I don't want to or won't enjoy it. Also note, his way of initiating intimacy is by saying, "Hey, you want to do it?" at random times during the day, or, quote, "I'm going to get in there later." In what world is that sexy or romantic? Wow, why are you still with this clown? What's wrong with you? How do I move forward from here? Am I being too cynical? I just feel disrespected and betrayed. And I'm hoping to gain some clarity on this from you and the squad. There's nothing to hear. You totally get it. But you, again, are one of them kind of women that just will take disrespect and mistreatment because you focus more on the fact that you have this boyfriend. Like you need him. You need to be validated by some clown. While he disrespects you all over town and all over social media, He discloses your private health information. He talks about you like a dog. He's playing your health issue for sympathy so he can get sympathy booty. And you're writing to me. You're wasting your time writing to me about this clown. Like somebody should care about him. Girl, if you don't break up with this fool, what is wrong with you? Why would you even think that you could be overthinking this and being too cynical when the man is repeatedly, I mean, then he did it. Did you ask him not to? And he did it again anyway, just last night. What does that tell you? He don't give a shit about you. He don't care what you're about respecting you. You're just there for him to relieve himself in. And the fact that he can't do that now, he's setting up so he can get it done somewhere else. Okay, I want you to understand that. He doesn't care about you. He's using you as a way to get into other women's pants. He's going for that pussy, the PD pussy. That's what he's going for. You see that, and yet you're writing to me. I don't even know what to say. Remember I talked about doing the webinar for toxic relationships? Go on the YouTube page, please, and click that link. It's also on the Debsterism.com website for the website for the show. Go on there and please register for the webinar. You need some help. You and all these young ladies in here tonight need to attend that event. There's something about you that you don't even understand when you're in a situation that is toxic and that is just killing your spirit. It's killing you inside, but yet you stay. All right, let's move on. This is our last letter of tonight. That was question 24. This is the last one, number 25 of November 1st. Can you guys believe it's already November? November 1st, 2022. We winded down to the end of the year. So this is interesting. So here we go. Male. Oh, as a matter of fact, let me do that right now before I read the last letter. This is the information on the webinar. It's called No More Toxic Relationships, How to Identify Toxic Relationship Behaviors and Avoid Toxic Partners. The idea is for you to get the skill set and learn to recognize these types of things before you get emotionally involved, before you get in too deep. It's $15 per person. It's going to be about a 90-minute webinar. You'll be allowed to take notes. It'll be like, slides and the whole thing. I mean, it's a full feature webinar here that we're talking about. And it's going to be December 11th. All right. December 11th is the date. So please check that out and sign up. Young lady, you need this. You need this like people need air. Okay. So here we go. Last question is a young man in the 42 to 49 age group. He's Black from Elk Grove, California. The woman he's writing about is in the 35 to 41 age group, and she's white. So he's Black and she's white. Okay. Summary of issue. My girlfriend is upset that I won't move in with her. I am 42 and my girlfriend is 40. She is pissed off that I refuse to move into her place now and the place that she's going to inherit. We've been together a little over 18 months. We both divorced and she has 3 youngish kids. My kids are young adults and way out of the house. She'll inherit her mother's ranch when her mom passes away. My girlfriend was talking to me about the future. She wants to get married. She was talking about us living together on her mom's ranch when her mom passes away. I told her I didn't want to do that. That I am not interested in having to wake up early and feed cows and chickens and shit. Okay, brother man. She said we can just hire a ranch hand to do it. I still said no. The stank of it all, just a hell no for me. I'm with you. Because that, plus the hay, I'm allergic. I'll be sneezing my head off and, ooh, but cows, ooh, no. No. Her stepdad will be at the mercy of her when her mom passes. He won't have any say or ownership in the ranch. I'm not interested in being in that same position. My other reason is that she has almost no boundaries with her ex-husband. Not sure if it matters, but he's a funny-looking white guy. I let her know this as well. She's mentioned putting her ex on the land if he needed a place to live when he's older. She doesn't want him to be a burden to her kids. As it is, she can't even get him to stop his mail and business packages from going to her house. So he has reason to be coming in and out all the time. They've been divorced for over 6 years. Dad, what the hell? This past weekend, I went to her house and her ex was parked in the driveway and nobody else could park in it because he made sure to take up all the space. When I went to the house, he was laying on the couch chilling. Anyway, I told her about that and it wasn't interested in that kind of stuff. Then she asked me if she wanted to live with what if she wanted to live me to live with her in the next year. I told her that would be okay, but not at her house. Her and the kids could move in with me. That I wasn't going to live in her house because there's no boundaries with her ex in that home. She's all upset. I've talked to her before about boundaries with her ex-husband, so I don't understand why she's acting shocked. What do you suggest be my next move? Tell her it's not going to happen, and if she can't see that and she want to see talking about you moving in there with, what it's supposed to be like, what, me, him, and your kids and you? What are you talking about? I'm not doing that. You want him around you, but I don't. It's just that simple. And tell her, that there's not no future here. This is the way it's gonna be. I wouldn't marry you knowing that clown is in the picture like that. You just gonna have to be blunt with her, brother. You just, I understand you trying to be all nice and delicate and stuff, and you right to me, but that fire that you showed when you was talking about that funky smell and them cows and chickens and shit, that was hilarious, by the way. That's the energy that you need to be directed towards her. Okay, you need to put some bass in your voice and you need to shine up your spine and just straight tell her, you got this motherfucker sitting around here too much. I don't want to walk in the house and see some other man in my woman's house. You tripping. You think that that's okay? Would you like it if you came to my house and I had some bunch of bras in my house? Or some broad always at the time getting her mail there and just sitting up around chilling? Is that would be okay with you? Let her see it. If you have to go and get one of your exes to come over, let her come over and let her see it, experience it, because she don't seem to understand. Sometimes with people like that, you have to let them experience the heartburn, the sharp pains in their stomach. They need to experience it firsthand so they get a clue. So you might have to set something like that up. But me, I don't know. See, I just don't have the patience for this kind of stuff. I know I don't want to live in no farm. I'm with you. I don't want to smell cow poop and see a bunch of flies and have to shovel. No, we're not doing any of that. No, just no, not doing it. And I don't like people, I don't like it when dudes be having their exes around all the time and stuff. And they, well, me and my ex's friend, you don't have no kids together. Why are you being friendly with her? That just sounds like two people who haven't let go of each other completely yet. And he hang around all the time. The bed is in the next room. I'm not trying to throw shade or anything, but don't you think that's just a little bit suspicious? What's he got to be doing over there all the time? Why he ain't with his woman? And your woman don't seem to have any boundaries, so I just would be very suspect. This whole thing sounds suspect. But you do you. But that situation wouldn't work for me. I would be looking at that and her insistence on having him around, and that whole setup would be something that I wouldn't really want to get involved in. It just sounds too messy. But that's just me. That's just me. That's all me. Too messy for me. Okay. So that's what we got going on today. We got we're gonna do the next. Wait, hold on a second. Let me see what day that is right quick before I tell y'all the wrong thing. Okay, we're in November. 1, 2, 3. Yes, November 17th is the next $10 on the spot dating advice live stream. That's where it'll be just like tonight, but instead of me reading questions that were previously submitted, they're going to be you'll be the ones ask the questions. You call in or you can type your question into the chat room. You're going to pay $10 using Cashapp or the YouTube, whatever they call it, super chat thing. Pay $10 and I will answer your question just like I did these people on the spot in real time. When you hang up the phone or you log off, you will have an answer, a solution to your problem. This is how it works. Okay. We'll be doing over this, of course, the night of the event as well. You get kind of in a queue and we let you know. And then it's really good if you prepare your question in advance and you can just cut and paste. Because, y'all be typing your little 25 or 30 words a minute. We don't have time to be waiting for you while you hunt and pack. So put it in a situation where you can just cut and paste, and then that's good. I'm going to change that because I'm also going to be accepting questions in advance I'm going to create a form that you can use that's going to limit you to that number of characters that you can use for these shows, because I'm going to be doing them every month now for the next until the summer. And then we're going to flip over to the Dusty News Network again. And then when Dusty News Network is over, we're going to flip back to this situation here. Okay. So I got all kind of new stuff coming up. I'm trying to think of some other things for the channel to keep you engaged and keep everything fresh and lovely. And it should be really good and a lot of fun around here. We got video a day February coming up in a couple of months. That's always exhausting, but hey, it's a good time too. So we got a lot of fun things going on this channel. So be sure to hit the subscription button if you are not already a subscriber, and the instant notification bell. You should have both, okay? And that's it for today's show. I hope you enjoyed it. What the Fuck Tuesday, be here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time for more laughs and more education on making better choices in your dating and relationship situations, okay? Don't be like these people. Use them as an example of what not to do. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.